Welcome back to Pappy Tinkers, and here I am today with my very first Gundam kit. I picked it up at Hobby Lobby at one of their 40% off sales, and thought, you know what, why not? I'm a little bit burned out on cars right now, and these things seem to be different, so let's check one out. Let's get in here and find out. And I know nothing about Gundam, so what this iron-blooded orphan is, I couldn't tell you. But let's take a look and find out. I was actually pretty impressed when I first opened up this package at the multicolored pieces: yellow, red, white, a metallic gray, and charcoal. At first I was a little bit disappointed that the decals were stickers instead of actual, decals, but you know what, it worked out just fine. Well, like I said, I had no idea what any of this Gundam stuff is other than some kind of robot. So I glanced at the instructions a little bit, and first it looks like a lot of parts, but they seem pretty well detailed, and even though there's a whole lot of steps, it's actually given a very good explanation of how everything goes together. And this is a really easy kit for anybody to put together, even with minimal modeling experience. You just follow the instructions step by step and away you go. So after looking at the parts and instructions for a few minutes and realizing I know what nothing is, I mean, with a car you can tell the engine and the transmission and stuff, but this, I had no idea. I think this is actually ending up being part of the head for it. So I actually had to pay attention to the instructions and look where everything went and how it fit together. I had to keep referring to it because all the parts were new to me. The plastic did feel different than regular styrene. I'm not sure exactly what type of plastic that it is, but it actually took the glue, model glue, and little did I know that you don't need glue to put it together. Everything just kind of snaps into place. I found that actually good, and even a little bit refreshing too. I mean, just one less stress about getting glue in the wrong places and cleaning it off. This was a pretty nice break from the usual routine, and since it came in molded colors, I didn't have to worry about paint either. I kept thinking that I would do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, maybe weathering it. But sometimes you just need to take a break from all that and just put stuff together. And like I said, it took me a few minutes to, quite a few pieces to realize that glue wasn't needed, but it would actually work if I happened to do something wrong or break it, like might have happened. Yeah, it still holds it together. The sword broke, and as you can see when you get to the end and you see the pictures, the sword looks absolutely fine now. That's because the glue actually does work on it. But everything fit together very nicely. If you've ever put a Tamiya kit together, I'd say it reminds me of that. Just kind of everything falling into place, other than having to pay attention to the parts, what they are, because, you know, I couldn't tell the difference between an arm and a leg and the helmet. I did go through and make sure that everything was cleaned off, any mold lines, and actually it was very minimal, especially compared to a lot of the styrene kits that I've been doing. And, you know, nothing to fill, hardly any sanding or anything else to go along with it, no filling at all. It was just putting the pieces together. And it certainly did take me a while to get the actual things together where it started looking like something, because the way these were built with the different pieces and different colors, it actually made it pretty cool, so that by the time you were done with one of the assemblies, be it the head or the chest or an arm or leg, it was already colored and looking good with just the parts that were there. You know, and that was really, really nice. Yeah, there I was looking at the decals going, bleh, that's junk, bleh, that's junk. But it turned out that they were actually better, and let's see, this has been put together now almost a year and nothing has come off. It's even been to a show and just kind of stood there all by itself, and just because, you know what, it's finished, let's take it there, why not? And finally, it's starting to look a little bit like something. I'm not sure what yet. It's so different than putting a car together, because, you know, especially if you've been around cars all your life, you pretty much can look at a part, oh, that's starter, that's distributor, that's the rear end, that's a shock. You might not know if the shock absorber goes in the front or the back, but you still know it's a shock absorber. And this, well, it was hard to even tell the feet pieces. And I took that part out where I was trying to figure out between the toes and the heels, but at least the head, you could figure out the head. And it actually looked pretty cool, I have to admit. Now I did have to take some things off of that to put the little eye stickers back on, because the instructions are in Japanese, and no, I can't read Japanese. And I was also starting to enjoy how articulated everything was, that everything moved so much easier than the doors and the trunk and the hood. Everything could be articulated rather easily, and they even stayed in the poses for standing. I mean, the arms turn, the wrists turn, elbows move like elbows. That part was very cool, and that helped me think of some things that I wanted to do with it afterwards. Oh, now, since I'm making a Gundam, I had to get a Gundam marker. And silly me, did most of my Gundam marking with the Gundam marker off the screen. You only have a few minutes to see me actually use it. But the way this was built, it was very easy to stay in the lines, and when I messed up, which I did quite a few times, it seemed to just wipe right off with my fingers without having to do any special cleanup or anything like that, and it stayed in the panel lines like it was supposed to. You know, some models, some cars you get, the door panel lines or the trunk panel lines are barely there, especially after a couple coats of primer and paint. But this, I have to say, was pretty easy. And the panel lines were prominent enough that they were easy to stay in. And it was also nice not to have to buy extra wheels, extra tires, the wired distributor, you know, nothing extra. Well, except for the Gundam marker, you know, because it's a Gundam, and you got to use a Gundam marker on a Gundam. But maybe I can find another use for that pen on something else. And trust me, that pen was a whole lot cheaper than any can of spray paint or bottle. Alright, now I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm going to let you guys take a look at the finished project. And I had a little fun doing pictures at the end, as you're about to see, because you know what, it's a Gundam, and you can have a little fun with it. So I did. Will I build another one? Maybe. I guess you'll just have to keep watching my channel and find out if I'm going to be build another one. And we'll just sit back and listen to the music for the rest of the video, see a couple more pictures, a couple more cool backgrounds, and maybe you'll find yourself wanting to build one of these too. Like I said, it's a nice break. Hey, enjoy the rest of the video and keep building something. We'll see you next time on Pappy Tinkers.